The culture. Before the genesis of the URL, there was a group of MCs from different parts of the country going to war in these streets. The network of small leagues, platforms, and street corners served as a breeding ground for what I like to refer to as the original shooters. And if you're a veteran fan like me, you should already know the faces flashing across your screen. If you're new to battle rap, do your research. It's imperative that you understand the story behind the first generation of vets who became known as the top tier. These names went on to become part of history, helping to establish what is now known as the world's most respected MC battle arena, the URL. And as the URL evolved, a glaring void started to form. Only a few names were considered elite, and a need for more shooters became increasingly evident. It was time for URL to find a new crop of rising stars. The solution became known as the Proving Grounds. The PGs became URL's in-house program for scouting, recruiting, developing, and grooming new shooters. We excelled at scouting talent because hungry MCs had a desire to kill on the world's most respected stage. This is where they trained, where they sparred, and where they cut their teeth. It served as a testing bed to see who had what it takes and who was built to survive in the toughest environment for MC battling. But it wasn't always perfect, and like any system, it too needed to evolve. URL decided to scrap the old Proving Ground system and built a new program called the Crucible. Instead of one scout, we decided to implement a team of scouts, tasked to find and nominate 2 shooters from each region. We made the process public to add an additional layer of accountability. The scouts would only maintain their position during each phase if a certain percentage of their picks reached the next phase.
Why is the process better? I feel like the process is better because the old Proving Ground process was just battlers throwing a card, and you didn't really have a background story to them. So next thing you know, you may see him on Survivor Series, and it's like, yo, I never heard this guy before. How to get on Survivor Series? With this Crucible process, you get to become familiar with the artist round by round and get more comfortable with them and see why they're in the position they're in instead of just seeing them thrown in. Most times people say, he's here because of politics or he's here because of whatever reason. With the Crucible, you can kind of see how the artist made it to this point right here. This is why I think it's dope.
The reason why the Crucible is great, y'all, is because the Crucible has integrity at the end of the day. You can't pay to get a Crucible. Somebody got to actually find you and spend their time to look up you and find you and recommend you for a Crucible. At the end of the day, you going from city to city, state to state, looking for the best. And even the best ain't the best sometimes when you pick them. But at the end of the day, the Crucible, number one, has the most integrity of any tournament you've ever seen, anything you've ever seen anybody go through. The integrity is there, and that's what makes the Crucible different from anything you've ever seen.
One of the biggest things I feel are a lot of names that these guys, the fans, pardon me, a lot of these names that the fans and supporters are familiar with, you understand? They may see the footage of them in this Crucible and be like, damn, that's what he did with the opportunity? Yeah, and then you're going to see a lot of people that you never heard of. They're going to be like, damn, this dude is fire. I'm a fan now. I'm a supporter now. So that's 2 of the biggest things. You know what I'm saying? The wow factor of unknown talent and the disappointment and the letdown of people that should have been the favorite, but they dropped the ball. So I think that's going to be a real challenge narrative in the season. You know what I'm saying? People that you thought that was the greatest or thought they were top notch, they wound up being fool's gold when it mattered the most. You know what I'm saying?
There's more accountability. There's more accountability. There's more people out there scouting, and you know that they're scouting, so they get the chance, they get their shine recognition or whatever. And even if they fail at doing it, we know you wasn't doing it from the beginning.
This process is the best process because it is the best qualified people in battle rap to develop talent, all working together towards the same common goal. And in a sport and an art that is basically ran through negativity and competition, it's very hard for things like that to happen, and it's very rare, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. So that is exactly why it's better than the PG process. There isn't one man that you have to get through, just one opinion. We pretty much all have to work together to get the people that deserve to be where they want to be, right? So I would say that that is the best part of the process and why it's better than the old one.
The transparency has actually been beneficial to the URL process. And, you know, as you guys start to see more footage and you start to understand where they're coming from as to why they chose who they chose, I feel like that's something that never really happened with URL before. Like we never really went through the process of explaining why you should be or why you shouldn't be part of this process. It was really just something that we try to keep behind closed doors. Now it's a lot more transparent. Like now people can actually see why a judge actually chose for somebody to get to that next level. Once again, we have 11 scouts. Now, obviously, accountability is one of the most important parts of the Crucible because ultimately, these people that they're choosing are the people who could potentially be the next star.
All right, for the Crucible scouts, we picked 11 people, right? Now, these 11 people aren't new people who are just new to battle rap, just giving their opinion on it. These are actually people who have actually been behind the scenes scouting all along, right? For years, they've been, giving us talent, right? So some of those scouts are, we're gonna start with Troy Martin.
My name, Troy Martin, from the War Report. What qualifies me to be a scout? I pay my dues, I've been standing there watching the whole PG process for the past 5 years, hosting, scouting, I've been scouting for the War Report for the past maybe 4 or 3 years, so I definitely deserve this. So it ain't about, you qualify. I bust my ass for this. I paid my dues for this, and I'm here, and it is what it is. We live.
Terror, you guys have seen Terror standing in these battles for a long time. He's responsible for bringing the likes of Mike P, for instance. He put us on to Mike P to come to URL, but he's definitely a scout.
I'm Mike Terror. I'm from the Bronx, New York. And I rep, TWR, the War Report. I'm NHB, URL, but I represent battle rap, man, battle rap as a whole. I feel like I'm qualified to be a scout because I've been a part of the culture for years. Like even before I was making appearances out in the culture, like I was like heavy on the battle rap, like watching on YouTube or like any tapes I could get. When Smack was doing the DVDs, I was watching all the DVDs. Like I feel like I wholeheartedly love the culture, and that's what qualifies me to be a scout over anything else like that. Like my love for the game, like I think I see things different than a lot of people.
Another scout is going to be Kels, Murder Management, right? Our Society Battle League. She's responsible for the likes of Ace Amin, for instance, but she's out in the DMV area.
I'm Kels from Washington, D.C. Our Society Battle League owner, Kels Murder Management manager, shit like that. What I think makes me qualified to be a scout is the fact that I'm a league owner and a manager, and it's a little easier for me to be able to tell certain things, in my opinion.
Another scout is going to be Floss. Floss is out there on the West Coast. He's been doing, he's been heavy in the game on the West Coast scene, developing talent out there, finding people. He's going to be a scout.
All right, so friends call me Floss. You guys can follow me on all platforms. Friends call me Floss. I'm based out of the West Coast. I'm currently living in Los Angeles. I grew up in the Bay Area as well. So I've got pretty tapped in here with the URL West and everything. And you guys can, check me out hosting on a lot of platforms like Riot, Shots Fired, things like that. You guys have seen me hosting battles for years, but now scouting is my main thing here. So the reason why I'm a scout, I believe they reached out to me because I've been in battle rap over here in the West Coast since the beginning. I've been kind of one of the secret hands that kind of moves, one of the bosses behind the scenes that's able to get venues. I've been able to lock down sponsorships, but one of the major things is I've been able to find some top tier talent. So I don't think name dropping is necessary, but some of the top names that you'll see out there, I have my hand involved in getting them to where they're at today. So, the artists, I would say that the company, they know what I've been able to do. So even though not all the fans know, because I'm kind of behind the scenes more, the company knows what I've been doing. So they decided to give me a chance to prove myself. And numbers don't lie. So looks like they put their faith in the right person.
Also from the West Coast, we have Don Nino. Shout out to Don Nino. He's been out there grinding on the West Coast as well. So we have some West Coast representation. He's gonna be a scout as well.
All right, man. So y'all trying to know who I am, where I'm from. Man, I'm Don Nino. Nino P to Don G for the Long Beach, California, North Side region. What makes me qualified to be a scout? I mean, to be honest, man, what makes me qualified to be a scout is, man, I'm just a very in tune lyrical person, you know what I'm saying? And I really be making these moves, man. I'm really out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga just really be in these events, really making this stuff happen, you know what I'm saying? Without, anybody asking me to do it, having to do it, you know what I mean? Just always been scouting talent, been, you know what I'm saying, on it just for my personal, you know what I'm saying, self, just to know, you know what I'm saying? Just so I know who to bet some money on, really, you know what I'm saying? So, and I got the guy watching over me, man. It's Bizzle forever.
Then we have from the Midwest, we have O from Street Status. Now, if you don't know who O is, you should be ashamed of yourself. O's been around for a while. St. Louis, I don't even need to run his resume. If you don't know it, go look it up,
All right, what's going on, people? It's your boy O, man. O Weston, straight out of west side of St. Louis, Missouri. Creator of Street Status. I had the helping hand of putting a lot of your favorite battle MCs on, like Hitman Holla, A-Verb, Young Ill, Remy D, Juzilla, B Magic, SK, T-Dubbo. I even extended my arm to a lot of guys, early guys like Young Scripts. YK was on my platform several times. I think I got like 15 to 20 million total views on YouTube. I've been doing this shit since like 2009, and I'm basically was responsible for that first Midwest Massacre along with URLTV. So it's just what it is, man. Now I'm a Crucible scout, man. I'm trying to put more MCs on to add to that list. Oh man, I'm qualified to be a scout because I've been a scout. You feel what I'm saying? I've been way more than a scout. I actually, like I said, I've been putting on MCs before I even knew anything about URL. I've been heavy on the smack tip, but before I knew anything about the brand URL, I was putting on talent into the battle world. So I've been in this game for a minute. I've seen a lot come, a lot go. So I'm definitely very capable of being not just a scout, but one of the best scouts. Like I said, I'll put on a lot. A-Verb, Hitman Holla, Young Ill, B Magic, man, list goes on and on and on.
Okay, so another scout is gonna be Dutch. Dutch, keep it a buck. Shout out to him. He's another scout from the NYC area. He's worked with Thesis with the Invitational. He's gonna be a scout.
Hi, my name is Dutch KIB. I wear many hats throughout the years. One of the first media outlets that was interviewing and covering battle rap with True Stories Radio. For Smack, but even Smack DVD. That's a fact. and doing projects with the War Report Radio, popping out to events, Legal Hard, Cali, around the New York tri-state area. And then that's where I started to get more familiar with the talent in the tri-state and started covering the talent, along with other talent across the nation. And I still got the thing where I try to discover new talent in battle rap. First it started with the tri-state, and then it kind of grew, with me doing the PG rankings. Everybody got up in arms with that, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it gave me a job. It gave life to the PGs.
Speaking of Thesis also would be a scout. Actually, the Crucible idea is a branch off his idea of the Invitational. So it was only right to bring him in because actually he was a big part of influencing the development of the Crucible.
All right, it's Thesis, High Society, War Report shit from Westchester, New York, from the 914, represent all of it. We don't get much love, but 914 shit. I'm the owner of High Society. High Society basically started off as some rap shit a couple of years ago, way back. It's older than a lot of people think. Then I just came into battle rap, and one of our main things that we came up with, myself, Tara, Troy, a bunch of the people in the War Report all came together, and we came up with this idea to do an invitational style event, which kind of led into, we did that for a solid 3 or 4 years. Probably in 2016 is when we first did the event, and 2 or 3 years before that we actually came up with the idea. That eventually led into the first stages of the Crucible, and the idea expanded. URL did a good job of expanding on the idea, and basically that's how we ended up here. What qualifies me to be a scout? I think I come into this a little bit differently than everybody else because it sounds weird and it sounds cliche, but I really do this for the culture.
So another scout, we got Bills coming from North Carolina, Body Bag Battle League, right? Now Bills has been responsible for bringing a lot of talent to the league. Man, at one point it looks like all the talent coming to URL was coming from Body Bag Battle League, but he's definitely gonna be a scout.
There was Bills, I read Body Bag Battle League, URLTV.TV from North Carolina. What makes me qualified to be a scout is because I feel like I pretty much scouted all the new talent that's in URL right now. If you look on some of the newer cars and the Ultimate Madnesses, a lot of those are artists that I've scouted myself already. And I've been doing so for the past 3 years. The people I scouted have been Jack Boy Mang, Louise, Holmesy, R Streets, Kid Chaos, Yana, Cuban, Riggs, None, the list goes on.
Right. In addition to that, we have Lex Luthor, Battle League. Now Lex, I like Lex because Lex has, what he brings to the table is one of the more unorthodox approaches to finding talent.
My name is Lex Luthor. I'm from Staten Island, New York. I've been battle rapping for the past 10 years. On camera, I've been battle rapping for about 15 in total. And I've been doing artist development and scouting for the past 6 years. What makes me qualified to be a scout is I'm really outside with it. I'm in the trenches as far as battle rap goes. I'm at a lot of events, and most of the events that I'm at are very small, hole-in-the-wall venues, and most of the battles that I watch have under 300 views. That's just the type of person that I am, and that's why my personality fits the scouting process. I wake up in the morning, I roll a blunt, and I look for new music and new battlers that I've never seen before. That's just the type of person I am. I don't watch Arsenal that much. I don't watch Murda Mook. I really don't watch these big name battles. I did when I was a kid. It's just hard for me to get excited for their 120th battle. So I like to find new guys. I like to find Fatboy Jiu-Jitsu and Tootie Ragu and Japanese Jesus. I like to find these new personalities, new styles, new characters, right? That's what I'm passionate about doing. So I think that's why scouting fits me the best.
Last but not least, we got Beretta Blaze, right? Now she's out there in H-Town. Shout out to Houston Barcode. She's gonna be the representative for there, representing the South, Deep South.
Hey man, what's good? It's Beretta Blaze, Barcode, Houston, Texas. Let's not forget, man, let's get into this Crucible though. Man, we don't think about what it takes to be a scout. Number one, when you're a scout, you gotta know where everybody coming from. From battling, from owning the league, from being on both sides. it makes you be able to see an artist differently. You know what I'm saying? You understand like the amount of time and the amount of effort that artists put into actually writing for these battles and actually trying to, you know, prep for their material like this. As a league owner, you understand that the business got to get done no matter what. No matter what is going on, when you say you doing something on this time, on this date, you got to get it done. Because the battle rap culture don't care. They don't care about your feelings, bro. They don't care about your feelings. At the end of the day, no matter what happened, you got to get it done. And that's on both sides. And that's what made me the perfect scout.
When we set out to do the Crucible, we wanted to create something that was familiar, that reminded us of older style of battles, but also like elevated the production value. So we kind of reached back to a filming style that came from like the flat wall look of like some of the early PG battles, Clean Paper versus, I think it was Rosenberg, where they're just right near the wall. And then of course we added in a judges element. So we put the judges in the room on a reverse angle camera, and just made the whole experience kind of intimate and raw. The idea was it's two guys facing each other who didn't know they were gonna battle yesterday. They knew they were battling somebody, but they didn't know who they were gonna battle. And the experience is limited to, you can't bring all your friends from wherever. It's limited to judges who happen to show up, or judges who are there, scouts who happen to show up, the film crew, and your opponent. The other battlers weren't there intentionally. Like, we were trying to isolate them and put them in front of vets so that we could really judge not just if you won the battle, but if you're of the caliber where you can stay here with us, where you can be at URL. And who better to know that than people who have been on that main stage and survived it. Yeah, so I think more importantly than battle content, honestly, which sounds strange, but more importantly than battle content is people seeing a battler and caring about their story. Now, some battlers, you know, some performers have a style where the stuff that they rap about in their rounds is their life, and we've seen that work really well for the Geechee Gottis and T-Tops of the world. But some guys are more abstract and lyrical miracle type guys. They don't necessarily rap about their day-to-day life, but somehow we wanted you guys to know about them as well, right? Because we on this side of the camera, well, on that side of the camera, get to know these guys and get to know the fact that they have interesting stories that you could care about. But if they're not putting it forth in their regular, you know, short style interviews, or they're not putting it forth in their rounds, you might never get a chance to learn their stories. So honestly, I thought more important even than having battles was making sure we had interviews, behind the scenes stuff where you actually got to meet these people and understand about their lives. Because honestly, I think that's really how you connect with a performer these days. I love that these are judged battles that aren't arbitrary judges. These are veteran guys who survived the stage and they know what it's going to take to get to the stage. And what's been interesting is we've seen in every city because we pick veterans from that region, we noticed that the judges not only are telling them whether or not it's going to work out or whether or not they're going to move on, but the judges instantly care about those guys. They instantly care about their future immediately. Most of them knew those guys already. So there's this kind of like, we're all rooting for you type of vibe. And that means a lot, because it's not just like some blogger that's trying to get some clout off talking crazy to somebody, and that moment is about him. That moment is about that battle rapper. Whether or not he goes on, it's that moment when they're evaluating him is my favorite part, because there's like a lot of like care and kind of big brother advice in those moments, and I think that's you're not seeing that anywhere else. There's nothing like that happening. Not that I can think of.